Today I'm going to be making an insanely delicious birria ramen with Korean influences to it as well. Yes, Korean. We're going to mix all three of those together and make a beautiful ramen that honestly, it tastes so damn good, it'll knock you off your feet. So let's go ahead and let's dig into this Korean Birria Ramen.
That's what we're making today, okay? So it's gonna be really awesome, can't wait. I was thinking of the chimichanga because I want to tell you, if you're new to my channel or haven't seen the video at all, I have a really good birria chimichanga episode that I did in the past, very early on, one of my earlier videos. Solid recipe, very good recipe. It's just gonna be different because I made, in my prime rib episode, I made a really good beef broth that was super rich. And I want to add that to this recipe today. So sometimes I play around with birria. I'll make it one way, then I'll make another way, because who cares? Like, just have fun, just try something new. So this is gonna be the spicy Korean birria ramen. I can't wait, so let's make this shit.
Okay, to kick everything off, I'm going to take some avocado oil here and I'm going to put it into a Dutch oven and put this on about medium to high heat. From there, I'm going to sear 3 pounds of salted and peppered chuck roast. And I'm going to let this sear on both sides, on all sides for that matter. And I'm going to do this in batches because I can't crowd the Dutch oven. So once everything is starting to sear, I'm going to give everything a good flip. I want the meat to get seared on all sides if I can. And then I will remove the seared ones and add the new pieces of chuck roast that haven't been seared yet until everything is seared and then set aside for later in the recipe. Now on the side, I've got a pan that's going to medium heat and I'm going to add in about 4 guajillo chilies. I'm going to add in 2 anchos and then 4 arbol chilies. And then once those have roasted just for a little bit, I'm going to take off the stems and I'm going to drop them into my blender, followed by about 2 tablespoons of smoked paprika, and then a tablespoon of cumin, followed by 1 to 2 tablespoons of Mexican oregano. You can use regular oregano if you want. And then about 7 grated, minced garlic cloves. So I'm going to go ahead and mince these garlic cloves, and I'm going to drop in a white onion and then 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. This is then going to be followed by a can of chipotle chilies in adobo sauce, then 8 cups of beef broth, and then I'm going to use about a teaspoon of ground cinnamon and then blend this on high, which will create the base for our birria. All right, now that is done, I'm going to go ahead and reintroduce all the meat back into the Dutch oven, and then I'm going to follow up with, this is completely optional, but a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, and then I'm going to add in about 2 to 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. After that, I'm going to introduce the birria mix that we made earlier, get that broth all in there, and then I'm going to turn the pot, the Dutch oven for that matter, to about medium to low. I want to get it to a simmer, and I'm going to put a bay leaf in there and cover this. And you kind of want this to sit on the stove for maybe about an hour or 2. Then I'm going to take some garlic cloves. Why? Because I'm going to make a chili oil. Chili oil is completely optional in this dish. If you want to use it, use it. If you don't have to. So I'm just taking a ton of garlic. This is about 5 cloves here, and I'm thinly slicing the garlic. Then in a small pot, I'm going to add about cup to a cup and a quarter of vegetable oil. And I'm going to have that heat up, and not too high, just about medium heat. Then I'm going to drop in my garlic, and you really want to make sure you don't burn the garlic in this process. I've done that so many times before. After that, we're going to add in some red pepper flakes. I'm using about 3 tablespoons. And then you want to turn off the heat and let this sit. After that, I'm going to start working on our pickled radishes. So I'm thinly slicing these radishes. I can't express enough how thin I had to get these because I want them to pickle well and taste really good as a garnish. So we're going to go ahead and slice these up, and then they will go into a little container with some distilled white vinegar, maybe about half a cup. It depends on how many you're going to make here. I used about 3 to 4 radishes. Now that the chili oil has rested and it's not so hot anymore, I'm going to add in some soy sauce, about a quarter cup. It's still boiling a little bit because it still has some of that heat, but it's okay. Tablespoon of gochujang, and then a tablespoon of MSG and sesame seeds. Then I'm going to add in the same for some sugar here, so about a tablespoon of sugar, and then give that a good mix. Set this aside, it'll be a nice garnish. I am then going to char some corn on the cob here. This is going to be used later in the recipe as a garnish. Now we're going to make a quick sauce. So this is going to start off with about a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, the same for some gochujang, and then I'm going to grate some ginger here. Recipe will be below. I'm going to grate that into there, add a little bit of MSG, about a teaspoon of MSG, some crushed red peppers. I'm doing about 2 tablespoons there because I like it spicy. And we're not done yet. We're going to go ahead and add in some sesame seeds, same for some sesame seeds, about a tablespoon, and mix this up. This is going to be really good at the end process when you want to put it on top of your ramen. Then, in a pot, I'm going to heat up a bunch of water. Why? Because we're going to make some soft-boiled eggs. So, I'm going to take some vinegar here. I'm using about a tablespoon of vinegar, and look at that. It's just awesome. The bubbles have gone down. That must be magic, right? No, it isn't. So, we're going to then add in some salt, about 2 tablespoons of that. And then I'm going to slowly, gently drop in my eggs. I'm using about 6 eggs here. And to get these soft-boiled, we want to set a timer for exactly 6 minutes. Let them boil for 6 minutes, and then put them directly into an ice bath afterward. Now that that's done, we can start working on our toppings. So more garnishes. So I am taking a red onion here, purple onion, whatever you want to call it, having it and then dicing it from there. This is going to be a really nice garnish later on in the process. I'm also going to be chopping up some green onions and also some jalapeno. Once the jalapeno has been sliced, I am then going to bring in the corn. Yep, the corn that we worked on earlier. I'm going to cut it down in half, and then that is so that I have a good base and I can get these nice little strips cut out here. And then I'm also going to chop up some cilantro, some fresh washed cilantro. All right, now that our meat has been sitting in the pot for a while on a low simmer, it's sucked up a lot of that juicy flavor. So we're going to remove the bay leaf and then remove the meat. I'm going to set the meat aside to cool before I start shredding the meat. In the meantime, I need to start working on the broth. Yep, we have more broth work to do here. Don't worry, it's going to be awesome. So I'm going to take a pot. I'm going to do this in a clean sink, and I'm going to strain out the broth. This is going to get out all the little chili bits and everything that we don't want in there. You can keep it in there if you want, but it's not going to have as much clarity. So I'm going to go ahead and strain this through, and it's going to take a little while. You're going to have to do it in little batches to make sure that you can get it all done. And then you want to start pressing whatever you can through as far as liquid goes, because as I stir this, as I press, I get more of that beautiful broth out of there, nicely strained. You can also use some water to help with the process, but I wouldn't recommend using too much because you don't want to dilute your broth. And there's our broth. I mean, look how red that broth is. That is awesome. It looks so good. So we're going to keep moving in this process, and we're going to move on to our next spot, which is going to be adding that sauce that we made earlier to the broth. It's going to make it more rich, more Korean-like, and really give a sense of umami to this. So we're going to then go ahead and start working with our beef because our beef is ready now. So let's start shredding up the beef. And as you can see here, I'm using 2 forks. I'm using a fork and some whatever they're called, salad tongs. I can't think right now. And then I use my hands at times because I've got a hand injury from the military, so sometimes it sucks for me to use utensils, even pencils. Anyways, so gonna go through here and I am going to shred all this up the best that I can. It does take a little while, but play some fun music while you're doing it. So while that's going on, I have a hot pot of water going, I'm boiling it, and I'm gonna add in my ramen noodles. Now I bought actual ramen noodles dried, not top ramen noodles, actual ramen noodles. I found them at my grocer. They have them at Asian grocers and many main grocery stores these days. I didn't feel like making fresh ones. So I'm going to boil those for about 5 to 6 minutes max. I want them a little al dente. And then we're going to move on to the egg. So here is a soft-boiled egg that we made earlier. I'm going to cut through this for you just so you can see that they actually worked out. And for some people, this is for you people, this isn't my thing, but they like to see the egg ooze and stuff, I guess. And there you go. That's your awesome egg for you people, because I love you. So we are ready to plate. So let's go ahead and plate. We're going to start off, of course, with our broth base. Then we're going to add in our ramen noodles. Then I'm going to follow through with all of our garnishes. So we're going to go with our cilantro here first. And then I'm going to go ahead and start adding in some green onions on the side, trying to make this as pretty as I can for all of you. And then I'm going to add in our slices of jalapeno. Can't forget that, of course. And then our pickled radishes. Look at those. They look freaking awesome. You can pickle these really, really fast. They won't keep for very long in your fridge, but it's a quick way to make some pickled veggies. I do this all the time, especially with red onions when I'm making tacos. It's a really cool thing to do. And then I'm going to come in with some of our red onions. I'm going to put those on top. There we go. In the middle, I'm going to drop in all of that beef. No, just a portion of it. I would love all the beef, but I can't digest it all. So a good handful of our birria beef here. And then I'm going to come through with some of that chili oil. Now, if you scrape the bottom of it, that's where you get the gochujang as well. And then I'm just going to layer that on the top. And we cannot forget our egg, and we can't forget our corn either that we worked so hard on. And I'm telling you right now, people, the corn is in. We are ready to eat. So let's see this.
All right, so it's all done, and I gotta say, this smells amazing. This looks absolutely awesome. So first, I'm gonna go ahead and try the beef real quick. That is so damn good. There's so much to try here. I'm gonna go for the broth real quick to keep this quick for all of you. That is damn good. With the birria and the chili oil and the noodles, I just want to try these noodles so freaking bad. This is on point. This is probably going to be one of my favorite recipes I've made as far as a soup. So, if you're new to this channel, thank you so much for watching through the video. For all of you that are subscribers, thank you so much for watching through the video. And let me know what you would like me to make. And if you make this dish, let me know how it comes out in the comments below. And I'm going to eat this shit. So, yeah. Cheers.
You like it?
Yeah, it's really damn good.